Okay. So in today's session, we'll see how we can work on sheets, that is how to insert the sheets, and we'll also see how to clear the data. Then we'll see how to work on shapes. Then we'll work on the ranges, that is how to make dynamic ranges selection or delete or copy or whatever, that is dynamic. First, we'll see how we can clear the data which we already have. So sometimes what will happen when I'm copying the data from one sheet to another sheet, or say from one workbook to another workbook, or say in a template. So what will happen is I need to remove the old data, the previous data. Otherwise, what will happen is the old data, let's say I have 20 records. Next, say the next month, or say next year, or say the next update, I'm having only 10 records. So when I'm pasting, so it should actually clear the complete data and then it has to paste. So if you want to do that, then we'll be using something called as clear. So how to use this clear, that we'll see now, and then we'll see further more other topics. First, we'll save the file. Let's save it, folder, macro enabled workbook, and we'll make it as session 3. Quickly, let's create one table. Creating one table here. And we'll format it. We'll put some border. So let's say I have a template like this. What I'll do is I'll try to remove the data. Let's say I want to remove this 2019 data. So what we'll do, first we'll rename this. I'll say WKS clear, Alt F11. We'll rename this. Right click, insert a module. Here we'll say mod underscore clear. Let's assume that I want to clear the data which is in the column I from row 5 to row 15. Say sub clear data underscore, I'll say clear. Let's take the sheet, say WKS clear dot range of, let's take it from this I5 to I15. Say I15. I'll say dot clear. Just observe, I'll run this. It is clearing the data. When I'm saying clear, that means it will clear the entire data, that is the data formats, whatever formats you have given, everything will be cleared. Let me copy this again and I'll paste it here. Make it as 2019. I don't want to remove the formats. I want to remove only the data. Let the formats be available as is, but only the data has to be removed. In that case, so what I'll do, copy this. I use the same range, but instead of clear, I'll say clear contents. I have to go here, just press dot and say clear. I'll get so many options here like this. Say clear contents, done. Now if I execute this, say F5, sorry, same name, that's why it is throwing error. I'll say clear contents. See, the format remains as is, but only the data will be removed. This is clear contents. Now let's assume that I have some comments here, or say notes. Go here, just put one note, say just simply I'll put something, just copy here and I'll paste it in several places like this. So here there are some comments like this. I want to remove all this. One way I can go here, I can remove it one by one. That is, I'll go here, say notes, and say remove or something like this. Here I'll say delete, so this will be deleted. But I cannot go and do this one by one. So through code, if you want to do, so what I'll do, say F11 sub clear data underscore comments. Let's select the table, say D5 to D15. So WKS clear dot range of D5 to D15, D5 to I15, sorry, make it as I15 dot clear, but this time I'll say clear comments. Now if I run this, the comments which were there, everything will be removed. Suppose if I'm copying data from somewhere else and if I'm pasting in the template, the dashboard, if you want to remove the comments entire in the entire table, then I can use this dot clear comments. Let me go here. I'll give some link. Let's assume that I have some hyperlinks. Let me randomly just give somewhere here only. Just assume that I have a link here like this. If you go here, it can be any link. It can be a link within the workbook, within the sheet, or it can be from some website also. Suppose if I have some links like this. Let's assume I have some link like this. Suppose if you go here, see, I'll see this link. I want to remove this link. So what I can do, can go here. Let's take the same table. Say enter. Here I'll say remove hyperlinks. Say dot clear hyperlinks. Now if I run this, say F5, the hyperlinks are removed. The format will be there, but you can see this hyperlinks are gone. If you want to add the formats here, you can keep one format somewhere here like this. After this, just say copy WKS clear dot range of, let's say K5 dot copy WKS clear dot range of this one. Let's say from here or anywhere. Just say E6 to I15 dot paste special. I'll say paste as formats. So this way also I can do. Now suppose if I run this, see, it will remove the hyperlinks, copy the format, and it will paste here. So I can do something like this. Right. Next, suppose if I have a format, I want to retain the data, but I need to remove the formats. Then I'll say clear formats. Say sub clear data underscore format WKS clear dot range of, let's take, say this column, that is H5 to H15 dot clear formats. When I use this clear formats, if I say F5, see, the data will remain, the formats will go. So you can decide what actually I need to clear. So whatever you want to clear, you can clear it here. Let's assume, I'll tell you where this clear can be used. Let me just remove all this. Let's say I have a drop down. Let me take this value and I'll put it somewhere here. I want to copy the data. Say, let's take one column only as of now. Remove this. Let's take a simple example only. Now let's say have this region 1 to 10. Next time when I'm actually pasting, say I have only 5 regions. I need to copy this and I need to paste it here. Make it as 2016 and here we'll take some random value. Now I need to paste this one, say Control C and Control V. Let's write a code for this. Say sub clear data underscore say clear. Yes, say clear. Let me copy this from K5 to K10. Say WKS clear dot range of K5 to L10 dot copy. Then I'll paste it here in D5. Say WKS clear dot range of D5 dot paste special. Now if I execute this, it's copying and it is pasting. But what will happen to the rest, whatever the rows are there? We have to remove that. So for that, what we'll do is we'll go here, we'll say WKS clear range of D5 to E. I'll just take some buffer here, say 10,000, 1 lakh or something, so that it will just clear until there, so that the data is completely cleared and I'll be copying and pasting the new data dot clear contents. If there is the column where we need to retain the formats, then clear content should be given, or you can give clear if you want to remove the complete formats also. Now let me run this. See, we can use something called as F8, that is function A F8, wherein this will go and execute line by line. So we call it as debugging. I'm just trying to show you guys how it will work. See, one line got executed. You can see is that I given clear comments, clear content. Sorry. Let's go here. We'll do it from beginning. Say F8. See, the contents got cleared. Now let me copy this and say paste special. See, this data got pasted. I want to remove this as well. Then what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say clear. So that even the format is also removed. Now if you go here, see, it's cleared, copy and paste. So clear is actually used to clear the data, and then I can paste the new data on the template wherever we have created the table or whatever. Right. This is used when you are updating the data in the dashboard. Next one is about the sheets. How to add sheets or how to delete sheets. So in the previous session, we saw how to insert row and how to insert column and delete columns and rows. Similarly, what we'll do is we'll see how we can insert the sheets and delete the sheets. This is very useful when you're actually copying data from various different files or sheets and pasting it in different sheets. So for that, say for example, I have 10 Excel workbook wherein I need to copy the data from those 10 Excel workbook, copy the data and paste it in my one single workbook in different sheets. That means 10 different files data should be pasted in my one single workbook but in different sheets. In that case, I have to keep inserting the sheets. Now if you want to insert the sheets, we'll see the code is very simple for that. Right click, insert mod, F4, say mod underscore insert delete sheet. There are various options for this inserting and deleting. First, we'll see how to insert the sheet. Sub insert sheet. I have one sheet already inserted. Now there is only one sheet. I'll say sheets.add. That's all. This is the code. Now when I execute this, a sheet will get added, but what it will do is whichever sheet I'm active, the sheet is inserted before that. Say I was in this sheet was activated. When I mentioned sheets.add, a sheet got added just before the activated sheet. Now if I'm running that code again, so I'm in this sheet, so one more sheet will be added before this, but after this sheet. Say fine. See, now if I'm in sheet 2 and if I run this code, one more sheet will be added before this activated sheet. But what I want is I want to insert the sheet after the activated sheet. Then go here, say sub insert sheet underscore and say after. Here I'll mention as sheets.add. After this, I should mention after equals. That is, I have to mention is after or before. Now I'm mentioning it as after, but I need to specify after which sheet I need to insert. So here I can insert the sheet in three different ways. One is by sheet name, one is by code name, or by index. Now let's see how we can do this for active sheet. Let's go here, say active sheet. I'm just mentioning it as active sheet. So whichever sheet I'm active, so if I run this code, so this will get inserted after the active sheet. Now let me run this. A sheet got added, but you can see it is getting inserted after this sheet. That is after the active sheet. Let's go back. I want to insert sheet based on specific sheet name. Let's say I want to insert based on this sheet 2. Now wherever I am. Now if you want to run this code, if I run this code, whichever sheet I am active, after that sheet only a sheet is getting added. But I want to insert a sheet specifically, let's say after sheet 2. Then we'll go here, sub insert sheet, say after sheet. Sheets.add after. Now I have to mention, say sheets of sheet 2. Now here I'm specifically mentioning that a sheet should be inserted after sheet 2, this one. Now I'm activating the sheet 5, but still I mention it as sheet 2. Let me say F5, see it's getting inserted after sheet 2. Let me take this sheet 2 and put it somewhere here. I put this in the end. Now let me activate some other sheet, any other sheet. If I run this program, see a sheet is getting inserted after this sheet. Wherever I have sheet 2, a sheet will be inserted after that sheet 2 only. Next one, let's say I want to insert sheet always in the second place only. That is here. Let's say I have a sheet here which will be the main page or a main sheet. I want to insert a new sheet specifically here always, the second index. Then I can use sub insert sheet, say after index. Sheets.add. Now I'll say after equals sheets of. Now I'll mention the index number. I'll say 2. Now this will be specifically after this That means this is the second sheet. Say after sheet 2, that means here after the sheet 2 it will go to third position. Suppose if you say after sheet 1, then it will come to second position. This is the index. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this it goes on. Don't go with the sheet number. This is sheet index. Sheet index means sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5. Now if the sheet 4 will go somewhere here, then the index number of this will change. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, it will become 4. Now this is sheet 2, this is sheet 1. Now mentioning it as after sheet 1, that means it will insert after sheet 1 only. Say Fi, see, it will insert. Wherever I am, say I'm somewhere here in sheet 7, let me run this. See, a sheet is inserted here. Whenever a sheet is inserted, that sheet will be active. Right. So we saw single sheet what we inserted. Now let's say I want to insert a sheet in the end. End in the sense always it should be in the end. So we saw how to insert the sheet here in the beginning, or say in second position, or specifically with some sheet. Now we need to insert a sheet always in the end. So every time I cannot go and select this and say insert after this active sheet or something, or I cannot keep always mentioning saying that say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and say insert after ninth sheet. Select this sub last. In this case I have 9 sheet. I'll say after 9, if I run this, a sheet is inserted here. But now if I run this again, it will not insert in the end, it will insert after this 9 sheet. But my requirement is I want to insert a sheet in the end. In this case, so what I'll do, let me go here. Instead of this hard coding as 9, I'll say sheets.count. The sheets.count, what it will do is it will count the number of sheets in the workbook. Now in this case I have, I think 11 sheet. So it will say after 11 sheets. That is, it will take the total number of sheets and then it will say after 11 sheet. Now if I run this, see, it will insert the sheet here. Let me select somewhere here. Now again if I run this, it will insert the sheet in the end. So likewise I can insert the sheet. Now let's say I want to insert multiple sheets. Say sub insert sheet, say multi. Now when I say insert, I can use either active sheet, sheet name, sheet index, or last sheet, anything. But I have to decide where I need to insert the multiple sheets. Let's say I want to insert, let's take it in the end only. Say sheet 13, after this sheet 13, whatever is the sheet name, I can go here, say after sheets, I'm taking the sheet count, comma, say count, and I have to specify how many sheets I need to insert. So in this case, I'm trying to insert 3 sheets. That is in the end. Let's say Fi. See, after this 13, then 3 more sheets got added here. If I specify some sheet name, let's say I want to insert 3 sheets after the sheet 8, then I can say like this. Simple. Here I have to mention sheet 8 like this. Now what will happen after this sheet 8, 3 sheets will be inserted. Say, see, 17, 18, 19 got inserted. So this is how I can insert the sheet. Fine. Now let's see how we can delete the sheets. When I say delete, again I can use same option, say active sheet, sheet name, sheet index, or sheet count. Let's go and try this. Sub delete sheet, and then we'll say active sheet. Say sheets dot delete. You have to specify So which sheet I need to delete. So here I can say sheets, then I have to mention which sheet to delete. I have to give the sheet, whether it is active sheet or the sheet name. When I say active sheet, then I have to mention here as active sheet. If I'm specifying it as a sheet name or sheet index, then I have to specify the sheet index here. Let me go here. I'll say active sheet dot delete. Now whichever sheet I'm activated, say I'm activating this sheet 19, I'll run this. See, Microsoft Excel will permanently delete this sheet. Do you want to continue? I'll say yes. Delete. It will get deleted. Now again, if I run this program, it will delete the active sheet. That is, in this case, sheet 18 is deleted. Now suppose if I'm deleting based on the sheet name, sub delete sheet underscore sheet name. Then I have to mention here sheets of, let's say, sheet 17 dot delete. Now here I have the sheet 17. Wherever I am, whichever sheet I'm selecting, now it is specifically deleting the sheet 17. Now I'll say Fi, it will say delete, it got deleted. If I run this program active sheet, it will run. You keep running, it will be keep running. But the sheet 17, whatever is there, this will not run, because we are specifically mentioning saying that it has to delete sheet 17. If you go and see, sheet 17 is not there here. If I run this, it will throw error. Subscript out of range. That means this sheet name is not available. Now let's go and see how we can delete by index. Delete sheet underscore sheet index. Let's take sheets of 2 dot delete. Now here it will delete the second sheet. Say F5. Now if I press this again, still it will delete, because the second index, whatever is that, till it reaches all the data, I mean all the sheets are deleted till here, it will keep deleting. Once this is also deleted, if I have only one sheet, then it will not work. Let's say I'll go here, I'll select say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll delete this 12 sheet. Say F5. See? Now again, if I run this sheet is deleted. Now let me run this. Right. Now if I run this, it will throw error, because now there is no sheet 12. So if at all you are getting this error, so you have to check. Though the code is correct, I don't have 12th sheet. Though the code is correct, here I don't have sheet 17. But active sheet will run until it is deleting all the sheets, but one visible sheet should be available. Right. Now let's see how we can delete the last sheet. I want to delete this last sheet. Let me go here, say sub delete sheet, say last sheet. Same thing like what we used, sheets of sheets dot count dot delete. Let me execute this. Here it says sheet 13. See, it's got deleted. Now again, if I run this sheet will get deleted. So until it reaches till here, it will get deleted, because we have the last sheet here. So even if this deleted, then this will become last sheet, this will become last sheet. So I can keep deleting this. All right. So this is for deleting. But whenever I'm deleting, I'm getting a message saying that this will be deleted permanently. Do you want to delete or not? I don't want that message at all. It should directly delete. If I say delete, it should get deleted. So in that case, what I have to do, let me copy this, just paste it here. Say delete sheet, say alert. Before this delete, I'll say application dot display alerts equals false. See, if I'm deleting this, say I'm saying sheets.count.delete, this is an alert actually. It is giving me a message saying that Microsoft Excel will permanently delete the sheet. Do you want to continue? If I say delete, the sheet will get deleted. If I say cancel, it won't. But if I run this code with this application.display alerts, let me execute this. See, it will get deleted. I'll not get any message. See, sheet 7 got deleted. Now I have the sheet 2. If I run this, sheet 2 will get deleted. So likewise, you can utilize any of this code. Say application.display alerts equals false. This will remove the alerts. So any alerts, if you want to remove, you can use this application.display alerts equals false. You don't have to give true, automatically that will become true. Right, this is for deleting of the sheets. Multiple sheets, if you want to delete, then I have to use something called as loop. Directly you cannot use the say delete option here for multiple sheets. That when you come to loops, I'll explain how to delete multiple sheets. Next is about renaming of the sheets. Let's say I copied some data from other workbook or say other sheet. I created one sheet in a workbook and then I need to rename it. Rename, again I told you, rename is a very good habit because that will help me in understanding or say recognizing what actually this sheet mentions. Sub rename sheet. This is by active sheet. I'll go here and say active sheet dot name equals, I can specify, so whichever is activated, that sheet I'm trying to rename. I'll say new sheet. Let me execute this. So this is my active sheet. Let's say sheet 3 is my active sheet. If I see, that will get renamed. This is active sheet. Now if I go to this sheet 4 and then if I run this program, it will not run. It will throw error. It will say the name is already taken because no two sheets cannot have same name. So you should actually understand this. Whenever you are getting any error, please read the message, what it is saying. It's saying that name is already taken, try a different one. That means its name is already taken. Right. Let's go to one more option. So renaming the sheet by sheet name. Now let's say I want to rename this sheet 4. I'll go here, say sheets of sheet 4 dot name equals, let's say program. Let's say if I see sheet 4 will get renamed as program. Now if I run this again, see it is throwing error because sheet 4 is not available. Here the error was it cannot rename the same name for multiple sheets. Here it is saying that it doesn't have sheet 4 because it's already renamed. Then let me go here. We'll do the same thing for sheet index by index. Let's say sheets of 2 dot name, we'll say region. We run this. See, second sheet will get renamed. Now if I run this again, it will still run because this is second sheet and it is giving me the same name. Now suppose if I go here and if I change the index here somewhere, now this will become sheet 2. Now if I run this, see, it will not rename because already a sheet with region is available, again it is trying to rename this second sheet, then it will not work. This is for renaming of the sheet. When I want to rename a sheet which I'm inserting, let's go here, say sub insert rename sheet, both together. I'll say sheets of, let's say we'll insert in the end, sheets.count dot add. A sheet is getting added. Now once the sheet is added, then that will become active sheet. Say active sheet dot name is equal to new sheet. I'll just say new sheet. Let me run this. Keep. Say sheets dot add will give after. Okay. See, now again if I run this program, a new sheet will be added, but it will not rename. See, it'll throw error saying that already a sheet is there. If you can see this, see, just new sheet. Now the sheet got added, this code executed, but when it is running this code, it is throwing error because already this new sheet is available. Now let's say I delete all this. Now I want to insert sheet here. When I insert a sheet, it will say sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. But what I want is, I want to insert here the sheet with some specific names, and it should give serial number. So what I'll do, I'll go here, let's say okay, I want to insert a sheet with this name along with the serial number. Then what I'll do, I'll say ampersand sheets.count. So what the sheets.count will do, it will include the number here along with this text. Now let me say F8. See, one sheet got added. It is saying sheet 22. Now we'll run this. See, it says 6th sense 2. Now if I run this again, one more sheet will get added. But in this case, what will happen? The sheets count will become 3. See, you keep running this, the sheets will get added because I have the serial number, that is sheets.count. It will be keep counting the the number of sheets, and then it will be keep getting added. So this will become unique like this. So if you want a customized sheets to be inserted, so you can give one button here and say insert sheet, then one sheet will be inserted along with this thing, and that will be named like this. Right. So this is for sheets. So we learned about inserting the sheets, deleting the sheets, and renaming the sheets. We also learned how to insert sheet by active sheet, sheet name, and sheet index. Right. Next one is about working on shapes. Most of the time, we'll be working on shapes in the dashboard. Say I'll be creating some buttons, or sometimes I'll be having some say shapes which we have to display when it is required, or we have to hide those shapes, something like that. First, let's see how we can use these shapes for hiding and unhiding. Go here, insert. I'll insert one shape. Let's take one rectangle. I want to hide this shape. Before writing program on these objects, we'll rename this. You can see it says rectangle 1. I'll say SHP. Again, see a prefix for shape. Shape will say rectangle, REC. Now we'll go here, right click, insert module. mod underscore shape sub hide shape. Say we'll rename this as WKS shape. Here also we'll rename. So WKS shape dot shapes. This time I'll not be giving it as range. Why? Because we are working on shapes now, not on range. So when I'm working on range, then I have to give range. When I'm working on shapes, I have to specify it as shapes. So these objects, say it can be range or shapes or whatever, that depends on what object I'm writing the program. Suppose if I'm writing on chart, then it will be chart objects. When I'm working on pivot table, then that will be pivot table. So you will be keep learning on these kind of objects. So in all the other programs here, you can see we mention it as range. See, but now since we are working on this shape, I'll be using this shapes. Why I told you guys to rename this is, see, when I'm renaming this, it will be easy for me to recognize on which shape I'm writing the program. I will mention in double quotes SHP rectangle. Then I want to hide this. Say dot visible equals false. Run this. See, the shape is invisible now. It's not deleted. It is invisible. It is still available. Let's go here. Say sub unhide shape WKS shape dot shapes of SHP rectangle dot visible equals true. Let me run this. See, again it will come back. Let's go and see. See, this visible equals true, visible equals false. Now let me delete this. Say delete. Just mention it as dot delete. Let me delete this. See, it gets deleted. Now I cannot run these two programs because the shape itself is not there. Now if I run this, see, the item with the specified name wasn't found. That means the item what we had created SHP rectangle that got deleted. So whenever you think that you're writing program on a shape, make sure that those shapes are available. Right. Let's go here. We'll see how this can be used in my dashboard. Let me take same thing like triangle, whatever we did. I'll create one shape here and then let me color this with some red color. Let me remove the line. Hide with grid lines. I'll make one more copy of it and one more copy of it. Let me select this format. I'll make it as blue. Then let me select this. I'll say green. Let me create 3 buttons, same color. Just put it here. Say red, blue, and green. If you click on this red, this shape should get visible. If you click on this blue, this shape should get visible. If you click on this green, this shape should get visible. So what we'll do, we'll keep this as this. I'll go here. I'll say SHP red, then SHP blue. This one I'll name it as SHP green. So 3 shapes are there. Now what I'll do, I'll go here and I'll write a code. First we'll write for code, say sub show. Here we have three shapes. I'll write a code. Let me copy this. And here I'll say SHP red, false. All the shapes first, we'll go here, we'll put it here. Say SHP blue and green. Now in this case, this should be visible. I'll say, let me copy the same program and I'll put it here. I'll make it as blue. Then here it's true. Here I'll make it as false. Let me copy the same thing, put it here, and this one I'll say green. And here this will make it as true, and this one as false. So I created three different programs. This is again a hard coded, so I'm just trying to split the programs. But once you learn about some conditional functions, though, you can have only one code like this, only one macro, and then you can do this task. But as of now, we are just still learning, so we have to learn so all these things. That is how we can actually do without if conditions or without any advanced options. So once you learn those things, then it will become easy, so you can easily work on this. Now I have created three macros: show red, show blue, and show green. Here I'll assign those macros to this buttons. Say assign macro. Here we'll say show red. Okay. Right click, assign macro, show blue. Then here say assign macro, say show green. Now what I'll do, I'll take all these three shapes, go to format, and then say align center, align middle. Now all will come one above the other because all were of the same shape, so they are coming one above the other. Let me just go here and click on this red. See, it is showing me red. Click on this blue. See, it is actually showing and hiding of the shapes. But since all the shapes are same, width and height, I'm feeling as if that the color is changing. See, it's as if the shape color is changing. So red, blue, and green. So like this also you can use the shapes. So there are so many other options also. For this I can use some drop down and I can do this one. We can also use, like, say I have three different charts. Say volume chart for volume, then for sales, and say quantity, then let's say about market share. So many things. I can put them in the drop down. So whichever report I want, I can just select that and I can show it here. That will be like dynamic when we have a drop down. But for that we should know conditional statement. As of now, we'll just see how we can use the options available, means option which we know, on that we can do this task. So this is for shapes. Next one, we'll see how we can work on the range. Range means, say I have a data here. This is called a range. Now when I'm copying this, say here while copying, I just mention it as K5 to KL11 and then I was pasting. But instead of that, I can select the entire range dynamically. So how to do that? That I'll tell you here. Just copy this. Insert one more sheet. Just increase. Then we'll make a small table. put some order. Say WKS range. Now, till now, we used to go here, say if you want to copy the whole table, I'll say D5 to I15 and then we used to copy and paste. Let's work on that. Right click, insert, module, mod underscore, we'll say range. Look, here we'll say sub select table. Now first we'll see how we can hard code this and select D5 to I15 WKS range. We renamed it. No, we don't want to. Rename this. The WKS range dot range of, we'll say D5 to I15. D5 to I15 dot copy. I'll paste it somewhere here only in K4. WKS range dot range of K5 dot paste special. Let me run this. I'm getting the result. But what if some more records get added here? Let's say 5 more records got added. Let me just copy the same thing and I'll paste it here. Now if I run this, it will still copy till row number D5 to I15 only, see. But what I want is, I want this extra data which is getting added also should be pasted here. So for that, I cannot use this type. This D5 to I15 is a hard-coded value. Now if you want to make it dynamic, then what I'll do, go here, say sub select table underscore, I'll say dynamic. Say WKS range dot range. Now let me select the first cell, this one, which is D5. But now I'll not be giving the range, say till I15. So what I'll do is I'll say dot current region. Okay, it says current region means this complete range dot copy. Let's say K5 dot special will use the same code. Now when I run this, see, let me delete this and we'll clear this. If you want, you can use that clear command. Now if I run this, see, only this data will be copied. Some people will give the extra rows also, say from D5 to I1000, 10,000. Don't do that unnecessarily. The memory will be occupied. Now if you say this is just copying this data. Now what if I'll increase again? Let's say I'm just trying to increase this, copy the same data. Now if I run this, see, automatically it will copy and paste. That means the entire range. But when you are using this current region, you should be really very careful. Say if there is any blank. Now if I run this code, it will occupy only this much, means it will copy only this much. See, it will not go to this range. The reason is I have a blank, then after that I have one more table. Now let me go here. I'll add one number, just one number here, like this. Now there is a connection between these two tables. Now let me run this. See, there should be one cell at least to connect between these two tables. The current region, what it will do, say for example, now I have some data here, say, just paste it here and here as well. Now the current region will increase till here like this. Let me run this. See, it's copying even the other tables as well. So there should be one connectivity like this. Then that will become current region. Let's assume I want to copy the data, say entire sheet data. So till wherever the data is there. Let's say for example I'll copy this and I'll paste it somewhere here and somewhere here as well, like this. I don't know, there are so many tables which I need to copy and paste in another sheet. Sheet 28. What does it says here? Here also it is sheet 28. I want to copy the entire data here like this till wherever it is, this one and this one, and then I'll paste it in sheet 28. So in this case current region won't work. If I use current region, what will happen? Let's try that. Copy this, paste it, test. Here it says d5.current region. Now if I run this, let's make F8. See, it is copying only this range. But I want to copy and paste the entire data of this sheet. Then what I'll do, instead of this current region, then I'll say wcase range. You should not give any range, a specific range here. I'll say used range dot com. The difference between current region and used range is current region will take a cell and whatever data is there within that range, that will be selected, that is within that current region. But used range, what it will do, it will copy the entire sheet, that is still wherever the Excel is used, that is the data is used. Now let me go here and run this used range, say F8. See, it's copying the data from here because the data is starting from here. We scroll down and see till wherever the data is there, it will copy. Now I can paste. Let's say I'll paste it in sheet 28 dot range of say d5 dot paste. Sorry, disable this. See, entire data will be copied in sheet 28 like this. So whenever you feel that you need to copy the data, that is entire sheet data, then I can use this used range. Advantage of used ranges, it will copy only till the data is available here. See, some people what they do, they'll say A1 to some Z whatever, say 10 lakh 58,476 or something. Don't do that. Unnecessary selection of the columns or rows or say cells will increase your file size. So this is for say current region and used range. So whenever you feel that you want to copy the entire table, you can just use current region. If you want to have entire sheet, then use used range. Any doubts you have till here? Guys, any doubts? No doubts, then I'll proceed. Shall I proceed?
Yeah, please
Yeah.
proceed.
Okay. Sure. Now, whatever we did till now is about a simple programs. That is, if you see here, I'm directly writing the programs. Just use that range, or if you go here and see, I'm just trying to clear the data. You can see that range I'm specifically mentioning it as say I5 to I15 or say D5 or D6 or whatever. This is happening between the editor or say VBA and the Excel sheet. Now what will happen? Let's go to one sheet here. We'll write a program, a simple program. Let's say I'll have a value here, and here I have 200. We'll write the same program like what we did in our previous session, a simple program to add these two numbers. Alt F11. I'll go here. I'll mention it as mod underscore data. Say sub add two numbers. We're trying to add these two numbers, and we have already done this program as well. So quickly I'll do this. Set WKS. Not renamed it. Okay. F4 WKS. I'll say data type. Copy this. Just paste it here. Set WKS data type dot range of D7 dot value equals D5 plus D6. This is the code. Now if I execute this, I'm getting the result. Fine. Let's see, we'll do more calculations in the same program. In this F5, I'll say equals this divided by this total equals D6 divided by D7. I'll get the percentage like this. Now I want to do this through code, not by formula. Go here, set WKS data type dot range of F5 dot value equals D5 divided by D7. So let me just copy this and I'll paste it here. I'll say D5 divided by D7. This is another calculation that is in F5. In F6, we have similar calculation, and here I'll say D6 divided by D7. So I've given 3 lines here for different calculations. Let me delete this and I will execute this. See, I'm getting the result. Let me go here, change the value. Now if I run this, I'm getting the result according to the number what I'm giving here. But let's go and check technically what is actually the problem here, or what can be done to write the macros much more better than what we have written. Let's go back. Let's understand the concept, how this macro is run. So when I write a program here, every code or every instruction will be followed one by one. That is called as interpreting. That means interpreter. This is actually executing line by line. If you want to debug, I'll say F8, it will execute line by line. Let's go to this first line. Here it says WKS data type dot range D7 dot value equals D5 plus D6. So what will happen is when I'm actually executing this program, the VBA will go to Excel to fetch this value, say D5. So what it will do, it will go and take the value here in D5. It will come back. Now it is ready to add the values which are in D6. So again, what it will do is it will go back to Excel, fetch this value and come back. That means D5 and D6, what will happen is they are trying to get the value from Excel and then they are doing the calculation. Say it is fetching the value from D5 and D6, it will add these two values. Again, it will go back to Excel and in D7, it will put the results. This is for one statement. Let's go to second statement. Here it says F5 dot value equals D5 divided by D7. So suppose if you see here, again D5 is repeating. Now to get this D5 value, what it will do, again it will go to Excel, fetch this 345 and again it will come back. See here also I am actually fetching the same value to do the calculation. Here also I am fetching the same value to do the calculation. In the next say instruction or say next line code, you can see this D6. D6 again it will go back, it will fetch the value D6, come back and again it will divide it by D7. That is nothing but the total. Here you can see it is repeating twice D7 and you can see this D6 is repeating twice and D5 is also repeating twice. That means to do a calculation with the same value, I'm going to Excel multiple times. This should be avoided. Why? Because next time if I'm using this D5 within the program I'm telling, if I'm using this D5 again, so what it will do to fetch the same value, that is 345, again it will go back to D5 and again it will come back and do the calculation. To get this D5 value, it is going twice. It's of no use. If it is going only once, that's enough. I can go fetch the value, come back and use the same calculation. So to do these kind of concept, we have something called as data type and variable. So this data type and variable are actually very useful because it will help us in running the program faster. The reason is it will avoid all these kind of repetitive fetching of the values. So how this data type will work, what are these data types and what is variable, that I'll explain and then we'll go for programming again. First thing is you have to understand the concept of these variables and data types. Data type means the type of data, means what kind of data I am actually storing in memory. Let's go back to this Excel. Let's say I'm typing one text here. This is a text, this is a number, this is a decimal number, so equals today. This is also a data type, that is it is date data type. I have true or false. This is also a data type. This is called as Boolean. So likewise, the data what we actually enter, the information, it can be as a values, it can be as a text, or it can be as an object. They are all called as data, that is information. We are classifying that so that we can recognize each data by its own data types. So likewise, there are so many different types of data types which will be classified depending on the data what we are actually using in the program. Now I can see this D3 is actually having a text. So technically they are called as string. Now here you can see I have numbers. In numbers again there are different types. One is byte. Byte means from 0 to 255. That is from 0 to 255 if I am storing the value, then it is called as byte. Next, suppose if it is increasing 255, more than 255, then I can use integer. Integer is a number data type which will help me in storing the values up to 32,767. If anything is beyond that, if it is like a number is going beyond 32,767, then I can use something called as long. So this is a very huge number. Suppose if I'm having a decimal number here, then I'll be using double. Double, which will help me in storing the values in decimal numbers. Suppose if I'm working on date, or say I want to store date value, then I'll use date function. Suppose if I'm using this true or false, then we call it as boolean. Apart from these things, we have object data type, that is chart, pivot table, range, or it can be columns, rows, shapes. Okay, any of these things which are like an object, they are called as object data type. One is the values what we have here. Based on that, I can classify the data type. Other one is the objects. That is when you come to this automation, then I'll tell you how to work on these objects. So we understood that data type means you're just trying to classifying the data into different types, and we also saw some different data types. That is, we heard discussed about say string, the number. In number, we discussed about byte, integer, and then long. If you want decimal, then I'll say decimal. Then we saw about date, and then true or false is for boolean. Now let's go back. What is the relationship between that data type and what we are actually trying to work on this program? That I'll show you. The concept of using this data type, or say classifying the data type, is to store this data into memory. Let's assume that this is my memory space. I'll just go here. I'll just color this. This is my memory. I want to store the data. Say I'll say my file, or say I'll say my sheet or whatever. So everything will get saved. Let's say I want to save a number. If you want to save a number, then I need a container. Suppose if you want to fetch water, then I need a bowl or say bucket or whatever. Similarly, if I'm storing a value into memory, then I need a space. Let's assume that I'll create some space here like this. So this is the space where I can store the values. So this creation of the space, or say occupying some space in the memory, okay, we call it as declaration. I'll show you practically how to declare the variables. I'm trying to create one space, then here I'll try to save the data. Let's say I want to store 1000. See, I can store here. So this is a memory. I created one space to store a data, and the data is stored here like this. There is a name given to this address, means this space, that is called as variable. And it is called as variable because the values which I'm storing here, let's say I given a variable name as num1. The name of this space is num1. So if you want to fetch the value, I'll use this num1. And here I can store only one value. In one space what I've created in memory, I can store only one values. Let's see one example. Let's say sub, say understand data type variable. Now first I told this is a memory. I want to create a space here. Let's say I'm storing a number here, and this space is for number, which will not exceed 32,767. Then to create the space here, I'm creating one space here. Let me delete this. We call it as declaration statement. Now what I'll do, I'll try to declare a variable so that will occupy some space in the memory. Dim. Dim is the first key, like what we have sub. Similarly, I should use this dim. Dim is nothing but declare in memory. That means I'm trying to declare space in the memory. When I'm creating a space, I need to give a name for the space. So for that, I'll go here, let's say num1. That is what I've created here, like this, num1. But I need to specify what is the data type I'm trying to store. What is the data I'm trying to store here, so that the space, whatever is there, can be occupied how much ever I need. Let me go here. I'll say as, I'll use integer. A detailed notes is available in the PDF. So if you want to go here, so if you go to this data types, you have a detailed notes on the concept what I'm actually discussing. So you can go through that. See, integer, long, okay, double. So I've given all the information here. You can check this as well. See, object I mentioned. Okay, so I don't want to go like a theoretical thing, so that's why I'm just trying to show you practical. Okay, say I mentioned dim num1 as integer. That means in memory I created one space with the name num1. Now let me go here. I'll put some values. Let's say I'll put some values to this. The space whatever I've created, let's say I want to put 1000. If you want to put that 1000, that means I'm trying to assign a value. Here I'll say num1 equals 100. I'll say 1000. See, here I put this 1000. Same thing, I'm mentioning it as num1 equals 1000. That means in the memory space, num1, I'm storing 1000. Now, if you want to see what is the value stored there, I'll use message box and I'll say num1. Previously, we used to do this, something like this, say 1000. Message box 1000. I'll say 1000. Now, I'm using this variable name. This is called as variable num1. Now, run this. So it will show me 1000. Now, you go here and change this to 2000 and run this. It will show me 2000. Right. Let me go here. In the next step, I'll say num1 equals 500. And again, I'll say message box num1. See, in this point, num1 is 2000. And then message box, I'm trying to give this num1. Next step, immediately in the same program, I'm mentioning num1 as 500. Then I'm saying message box num1. Now, if I execute this, first it will have 2000. The next it will have 500 because I have again assigned some value here. Let me go here. I'll say num1 equals 300. Then I'll say num1 equals 200. Now if I say message box num1, see, first it will be 2000, then again it will come to 500, then it will become 300, but I'm not displaying anywhere. Then it will come to 200. Now whatever the latest value is there, that will be available. Let me run this. See, 500, then 200. This 300 is not printed because I don't have the message box here. So this is how I can actually declare a variable. Declaration means creating a space in the memory. Then assignment means assigning a value into the memory. The space whatever I've created, there should be a name that is called as variable. And the space here is created depending on what kind of data type I'm mentioning. Suppose if I use this byte, if I use byte, that means it is up to 255, 0 to 255. Then the space occupied will be this much only, like this. It will not occupy this much. Say long, that's a very big number, then it will occupy something like this. Like this. So depending on the data type, what will happen is it will occupy the space. Fine. Now let's go back and we'll see how we can convert this program into this concept. Let's take sub, I'll say add to number, mention it as data type. First we should see what all values I need to store in the memory. Let's say I want this D5 and D6 to be stored in the memory because they are repeating again and again. Even D7 is also getting repeated. So what we'll do, we'll create three different variables. I'll say dim num1 as integer, dim num2 as integer, dim total as integer. See, I declared three variables. If I'm declaring three variables, let me just remove this. See, I declared three variables. Say num1, copy this, I'll just paste it here, num2, and say num3. So three different variables have been declared, space is created. Now I need to assign the values for this. Say num1 equals double case data type dot range of, we'll take this one, that is d5 dot value. The num2 will be d6 dot value, this one. The next step is adding of these two numbers. You see, now I'll go here. I have one more variable which I've taken. I'll say total equals num1 plus num2. That means for total, I'm assigning the addition of num1 and num2. Now I need to put the result in D7. So what I'll do, I'll go here. I'll say D7 equals num1 plus num2. First I declared, then I assigned the value. Now I'm trying to put this, say whatever is there, say num1, num2, or I can use this total also. This one, because it's already adding. Let me clear this, run this. See, I'm getting the result here. We had one more calculation here, that is this one, d5 divided by d7, that is in f5. Now what I'll do, I'll say f5 dot value equals, here it says d5 divided by d7. So what I'll do, d5 is num1 divided by total. So num1 divided by total. Next one, I'll just copy the same thing, and here I'll say num2 should be f6. Now if you see, it says num1 divided by total. Total is nothing but this d7. Num1 is nothing but this d5. Now the values are already stored in the memory here. Let's say here this will be 100, this will be 200. So whatever I'm adding here, that will get stored here. That is, in this case it will say 300. So let's run this. See, I'm getting the results here. Now what is the advantage of this with this is, here every time it is going to Excel to fetch these values, but here it is going to Excel, see, D5 and D6 only once it is going to fetch the value. So if you see here, it is trying to use these two values and then doing the calculation along with this total. So to Excel, it will go only once to fetch the value. Say in D5, it is going to D5 fetch the value, that's all. But here it's not like that. Say D5, it is going fetching the value, come back again D5. For the same value, it will go multiple times. Here I can avoid. Let's say one more calculation came. Say equals num2 minus num1. Then I'll say the whole divided by, let's say d5. Some random calculation. So d6 minus d5, the whole divided by d5. If you want to do it through code, I'll go here. So this is h5, so double case data type dot range of h5 dot value equals, now it says d6 minus d5 divided by d5. So in this case, d5 is num2. I'll say num2 minus num1, the whole divided by num1. Okay. See, I just have to mention only these variables. If it was this case, then I'll say wcase data type dot range h5 dot value equals then d5 dot value, sorry, d6 dot value minus d5 dot value, the whole divided by this one, that is d5. So the code will become very big. Say, you know, say d6 minus d5 the whole divided by d5. So we have to mention everything. Then again, the code will become slow because to fetch the same value, I'm going to Excel and fetch the same value and I'll come back. But in this case, it's not like that. See, only once it will take the value. Till I finish the program, the value will be available in this variable. Let me run this. See, I'm getting the result. Let me change this. Let me run this. See, I'll get the result accordingly. Right. Let's go back. Now we understood about the data types, how to declare, how to assign the values and do the calculation according to the values which I've assigned. Next is, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here. This declaration should be very neat and very precise. Means it should be perfect. Some people, what they do, they'll declare the variable like this. Say num1, num2, and then total as integer. Now in this case, people will think that num1, num2 and total all are integer, but it's not like that. If you are using like this, num1 and num2 are not integer. They are actually a variable called as variant. Variant means there is no specific space for that. It will occupy, a bigger space. When I say variant, the space occupied will be something like this. It will be such big. Suppose if I'm storing only integer value, which is 1000 or say 20,000, the entire sheet, whatever is there, the entire memory space, whatever is there, that will be wasted. Let's say I'll occupy only this much of space, then this entire space will be wasted. So depending on my data type, what I have to do, I have to say assign the data type here. Now how will I actually give this also integer num1? I told you it is occupying as a variant such big space, so we have to avoid it. I'll say num1 as integer and num2 as integer. If you give like this, then num1 and num2 are actually integer now. Previously it was variant. Otherwise, the best practice is declare the variable in each line. So this is the good practice actually. Nothing will happen. See, you're just using one enter, that's all. But this here, whatever we have assigned, okay, we are declared in the same line. If I'm not giving this integer or say any data type, then this will become variant. Let me remove this option explicit. I just removed the option explicit. Now what I'll do is I'll just declare only this total. I'm not declaring this num1 and num2. Say total, I'm declaring here num1 and num2 I'm not declared here. I'll run this. The program is running. I'm getting the result here. But people keep in mind, it's a very good habit to declare the variables. If I'm not declaring, those variables which I've used in the program will become variant. Num1, num2 are not declared, but still they are available. That means I've used it as a variable. That means this will become variant. If I'm giving specific, say in this case, say, let's say it is occupying this much of space, and next another variable is occupying this much of space. Just to store a small value, it is actually occupying so much of space. Instead of that, we'll see where all variables are not declared, then we'll declare it. But in this case, I have only one or two variables I can easily recognize. What if there are 10 to 15 variables? Then it will become difficult for me to go and check each and every variable whether they are declared or not. So for that, what we'll do is here on top, we'll put option explicit. This option explicit, you don't have to type. Go to this tools, options. Here in this editor, you can see this require variable declaration. If this is disabled, see, I'll disable this. Let me go here, right click, insert, and say module. I'll not get that. But in case tools, options, this is enabled, say OK. Now let me insert a module. See, you get this option explicit. But this will come only after you enable that. So whatever modules you have created without enabling it, it will be as is like this. Now let me go to this data type. I'll paste this option explicit. Let me come down. In this program, I've used variable num1 and num2, but I've not declared it. Let me run this. See, variable not defined. It will not allow me to execute this unless and until I assign the say declare the data type. Otherwise, I have to stop the program. Let me go and declare this. Say dim num1 as integer. Now let me run this. See, now it's showing num2. I'll say dim num2 as integer. See, any other variables which are not declared, that will ask for declaring. That means option explicit is an option, or say a code, or we can also call it as explicit, which will force the user, say it will force the program to declare the variables. This option explicit is actually used to force the program to declare the variables. Right. So now we understood about how to declare the variable and assign the values. Let me go here. I'll change this value. Okay. Now this value, what you see, is actually going beyond 32,000. But the data type what I've given is integer. Let me run this. See, overflow. That means the space what I had created in memory is not saving, because it is only integer, and the value what it is here, it is 67,000. So what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say long. Let me change this to long. Once I change this to long, now if I run this, see, I'm getting this Z. That is because now the value can occupy more than 32,000, and here it is taking this value and it is working. Suppose if you want to work on text, let's say I'll go here, I'll use a country. I want to get a result here, say India has done sales of 135,785. I want the value which is there in D3. Along with that is just to append the total what I'm getting here with the value, that is num1 and num2 value what I'm getting. So here I'll declare one more variable, say dim country as string. Now this country also has to be assigned. I'll go here, I'll take this D3 value, say WKS data type dot range of, what is that, D3 dot value. Now I got the country here. Now in the end, in this cell, that is D9, say WKS data type dot range of D9 dot value equals. So first is India, which is there in D3. I'll say country, which you have declared, and you have assigned D3 value to country ampersand. Then the total. So for this we have a statement that is as done sales of. Go here, as done sales of ampersand. Then I'll say total. See how easy it is. I've taken this country, I mentioned it here, ampersand as done sales of, then total. It is already getting calculated. That will come. Now let me run this. See, let me change this to USA. Let's change this. Now if I run this, I should get all these values along with that this text. Let me delete all this. Now I'll run this program. See, USA has done sales $1,267, and here you can see the calculated values percentage, and here this one. So likewise, the data types are very important when you're actually working on a longer program where I'll be using a value multiple times. If it is a single time, you can just go fetch the value and do the calculation. When you feel that there are codes, or say the statements which I'm using the same value multiple times, make sure that you are declaring the variable, assigning the value, and then doing the calculation. Defining means nothing but I'm just trying to create some space in the memory. And then variable means it is a name for the space what I have created. And then I'm saving the value in that memory space what I've created. That is called as assignment statement, that is assigning the values. Then using those variables, I can do any calculation within the program.